Well, it's June and it's community, and finally the weather is right.
Absolutely. It's time for summer vacation, right?
Yes, it is, and that means we're going to start off our show today talking with the superintendent. Welcome to Community. Dr. Tanja Williams-Knight.
A lot of names.
Yeah. When we first started talking to you as superintendent, it was just one name.
Yeah.
And you had a mission, and now it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
What do you think about your tenure as superintendent?
I am proud of my tenure. I came in as a novice superintendent, admittedly and unapologetically. I had never served as a superintendent of schools. One of the first things I did that I'm really proud of is creating a community-inspired strategic plan. And I didn't realize that that would be a big deal, but I wanted to hear from the community what their hopes and dreams were for our children. And out of it, we came out with this 5 by 2025, and we stuck to that.
When you walked out of that building behind you in 1982, could you have foreseen the path you would take?
Absolutely not. No, I had majored in French, and I thought I'd be living in Paris, and I'd be some kind of a diplomat or something. I didn't think at all that I would ever become the superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools, which has served me so well. I was very nervous about leaving my neighborhood, Central Park, and taking the 23 bus ride out here to Black Rock. There was nothing remarkable about Tanja Benson at that time. It was just hard work. It was hard work, perseverance, and caring. And this is where I got my foundation.
Yeah. And now you're helping to build that foundation for the kids today. It's so different from 1982 to 2025. Students' needs are different.
When I was in school, there was a lot of focus on instruction and academics. We do have to really focus on the social-emotional needs of children. We have to include parents in the process, but we've got to stay up with the standards. And we can't lessen the expectations for children.
Looking back, what are you most proud of, and what do you think you left on the table?
I was almost not just the Buffalo school superintendent, but the community superintendent. And I talk to people and I really listen. I take the time to really listen and hear what they're saying. And it matters. It matters to me what they're saying, and it has influenced how I have led and things that we've done in the district. I mean, there are those things like the 3-tier bill schedule that we, implemented with that bus driver shortage that we were experiencing. Having contracts settled, 11 contracts really in a school district all settled, unheard of. You've asked about what's something that's left on the table, and I always wanted to get middle, early, high school its own home. And I hope that the next superintendent will be able to do that. Low points for me are always when children are harmed. And, we've had some times, there have been some challenges that we've experienced in this district, like almost any district, where, our children have, whether they've hurt themselves or some other person has brought harm to them. The high point, I think I'm leaving the district in a good place. We've got a $400 million asset, that I'm leaving for the next superintendent to create programs that will support children.
We wish you all the best in retirement.
I guess in the words of Bugs Bunny, that's all, folks.
This month, the nation also paused to recognize Juneteenth.
Let's look at the meaning of Juneteenth.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time, and Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. And on June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told the slaves of their freedom. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence or even death when they tried to leave, yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year and the year after that, and over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980. Since then, all 50 states and Washington, D.C. also recognized Juneteenth as a holiday. In 2021, President Joe Biden signed the bill making June 19th a federal holiday in the United States. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
If you listen closely,
It's an instrument that has no boundaries or limits.
you won't just hear it, you'll feel it. The pulse of history, heartache, and heritage, all wrapped up in one rhythm.
It's a soul healing. The music, the dance, those things help soothe pains that regular therapies can't.
Centuries of culture and history alive in the beat of the African djembe drum at MLK Park.
The music has, the ability to, it's a universal language.
Ross Jomo Okono has been connected to that language since he was a kid.
Spent a lot of years studying and playing.
And he's been keeping the beat and the tradition alive ever since, passing it on to the next generation.
This is my father, so I started drumming as early as I could remember as a child.
Tafari Okono is often playing right next to his dad, but growing up, it may have felt more like a chore.
Half the time I didn't want to drum when I was a young kid, but learning those tools then and then coming back to it, it's even more important and you see even more. So the things that I didn't understand as a child, now that I'm adult, I understand how important it was.
This father-son duo isn't alone in keeping the heritage alive.
Well, if you have kids, you can't just let them not learn, because it's something that's embedded from the heartbeat.
Ronald Lawrence, originally from Guyana, picked up the drums as a kid in Brooklyn, New York. And soon enough, he'd pass that knowledge on to his son.
I was a fast learner. So when, I was trying to play, they would show me and I would learn real quick.
But the practice itself had to be fought for.
One of the main things is why aren't more of our people playing the drums? The drums were made illegal. We're celebrating Juneteenth, and there were certain rules, laws, and codes that went along with enslaving African people.
Slave codes like this 1800s law from states like South Carolina often ban drumming and other African cultural practices.
It never fully worked because those things were transferred to things with your hands and your feet, like tap dance, putting metal on your shoes.
As we celebrate Juneteenth, it's a powerful reminder that music and culture can heal, carry people through hardship, and inspire a sense of freedom.
Whatever, may have been bothering or troubling your mind, once the drum starts, it's a form of freedom. It takes you on a ride to where you just focused on, expressing, through the music.
I don't know how to explain it, but it just it just brings all the stress away. I just feel free.
Coming up next on Community,
Pride in Western New York.
It's a new chapter for LGBTQ support services in Western New York.
So my name is Jack Kavanaugh. I'm the executive director of GLIS Western New York, which is an LGBTQ youth services and advocacy organization. And then just this week, we took over operations and oversight as well of the Pride Center of Western New York. So, we're able to provide services and resources to the whole community, with GLIS focusing on young people and the Pride Center focusing on adults up to older adults as well.
Kavanaugh says the realignment allows both nonprofit organizations to do what they do best.
You know, the Pride Center has been doing a number of youth programs now for the past about 3 or 4 years, which has been great. They've been really successful working with like families of younger kids, whereas GLIS is really focused and had a lot of success working with teens and kind of teenage young people, especially middle school and high school.
GLIS offers twice monthly support groups for trans and non-binary youth ages 13 to 17. For younger kids, the Pride Center provides space for creativity, play, and belonging. At both places, parents can attend their own group sessions at the same time.
I mean, the reality is that, especially with younger kids, their needs are just social, right? They just want to play. They just want to be around people like them. With teens, that's when you get more into a lot of the nuanced conversations and real support that they need around discovering their own identity.
The leaders of a local organization called Outspoken for Equality, Marsha Krebs and Ellen Leader, say they've worked with the Buffalo Police Department to establish rights for the LGBTQ+ community. Outspoken for Equality was instrumental in getting same-sex marriage legalized in New York State back in 2011. Ellen Leader believes more progress is needed.
I still think to a degree there is some danger and people are wary because even within Western New York, there are still plenty of people who do not like any part of our community.
Buffalo Police Commissioner Alfonso Wright says he grew up in Buffalo's Fruit Belt neighborhood and remembers a time when the LGBTQ+ community was persecuted.
Growing up in my area, if you came out as gay, it was actually dangerous. But I have seen the evolution.
Commissioner Wright says the Buffalo Police Department is working to increase trust with the LGBTQ+ community, especially following the murders of Mickey Harmon and Jordan Soletto, who were killed in their Allentown home in March. Wright says officers are getting to know people in different neighborhoods across the city.
We've increased walking details. We actually we're in the infancy stage of a walking detail. It's not only Allen Street, but it's everywhere. To see what makes them feel safe, to see the needs of that community.
Marsha Krebs says she believes this kind of community policing could be beneficial.
When they are talking to, the people in their community, whether they're doing it on foot, doing it on bicycle or whatever, so there's not that protection of a vehicle between them and the people in the community. It will always bring people closer.
Commissioner Wright says Fillmore District Buffalo Common Councilman Mitch Nowakowski has helped bridge the gap between the community and the police department.
Once you understand somebody more and you get almost educated on how to converse with somebody, that those people are oftentimes more likely to open up and to seek help.
They just want to be respected and feel safe in their community, and it's our job to make sure they are.
We wanted to share what we know and love with other people here.
Caitlin Lanigan and Yasmin Batouche dreamed about opening their own cafe for years. The couple met in 2019 and discovered their love of the cafe and bakery scene as they traveled the world. While Yasmin is from England, Caitlin is originally from Buffalo.
We can imagine opening a business anywhere else in the world because the advice and the help that we've received from fellow business owners has just been incredible in this journey, and it truly is the city of good neighbors.
Sevens just opened on Louisiana Street in the old First Ward. Sustainability is important here. Their to-go cups turn into compost in 60 days. Their hot drink cups, when you stay at the cafe, are made out of coffee bean husks. Their main focus is to make sure everyone who comes through the door feels welcome, accepted, and seen.
We feel like our food sort of complements that because we do just happen to be vegan. It means that if you have a dairy allergy, you can come here. We have lots of gluten-free options, so if you're a celiac or you can't eat, soy or nuts or sesame, we have a lot of experience, Kate in particular, in the kitchen of understanding what that means to people and being able to accommodate that. So we just wanted to create a space where everybody belongs.
This is the couple's first Pride in this new space as business owners.
Pride this year does feel somehow more profound or impactful or relevant than it ever has done in today's political climate that we find ourselves in. we created a space that is meant to be safe for everyone. As two women who are married, I'm an immigrant, I'm not from here. It was really important that we created a space where people felt welcomed, no matter how you identify.
And when you walk in, you'll notice a gallery of black and white photos. It's their wall of rule breakers.
Everyone on these photos is doing something that at the time seemed wrong or against what rules society has set. So it's kind of just a reminder that you do have the power as one person to change the course of history. Each of us.
Yeah, and to make a difference and to make good choices. And I feel like I always say that we're made to feel like one person can't make a difference, but if you look at this wall, all of these singular one people or a small group of people did make a difference that slightly sort of changed the course of history. And that's a reminder for us that, you know, it might not always feel like we're making a difference, but we are. And the choices that we make and the places that we choose to go, they make a difference even if we're made to feel like they don't.
Coming up next, Buffalo Joe set to make a mark in his second year with his hometown team.
And a little bit of music. Welcome back to commUNITY. We figured we start off with a little bit of music. Marsha Ambrosius and Pete, the majority of her band from right here in Buffalo.
Buffalo strong.
And I'm glad that I get to be there in a town that, you know, is near and dear to my heart in more ways than one. I have family that are all from Buffalo now, my extended family. So it's nice to have, you know, band members and, you know, at least 75-80% of my team are from there. So it's going to be a nice homecoming.
She's an English singer and songwriter who started her career with Flowetry.
You know, my Disney Club days, that's what Flowetry felt like, you know, very early college dorm.
And she got to work with one of her favorites.
Michael Jackson, Butterflies. When I say that, what does that mean and do for you?
It's the time. You know, I was 16 when I wrote it. Michael Jackson, to hear that song and its intention, I wrote it about a guy I had a crush on that worked at McDonald's when I was a kid, you know. So for Michael Jackson to go, no, that's a pure thought, you know, in music, you want that love song. And for Mike, it was Butterflies.
And now her music career continues to grow, including her latest project with Dr. Dre. The album is Casablanca.
It's jazz, it is R&B, it's funk, it's rock, it's all of those things. And I got to create a really nice, beautiful piece of music.
And here's a taste of what Buffalo experienced at her show in June.
And now some local talent of a different kind.
We're talking about Buffalo Joe. Here's John Scott.
Joe Andreessen's always been the underdog.
Every level, whether it's high school and stuff like that, you know, I wasn't really, you know, I would say a standout player on my team at Lancaster till my senior year. Barely went to Division I, you know, FCS, school slipped by there, entered the transfer portal, didn't have, because I wanted to play FBS football, barely slipped through, and UB was my only offer in the transfer portal, so barely slipped by into FBS football. And then kind of same thing as you mentioned, barely slipping and getting my foot in the door. And obviously, I feel like once I've got my foot in the door, good things have happened.
Including taking a Bills rookie minicamp invite just over a year ago after going undrafted, into not just making the team come the regular season, but playing 13 games. Yet even as Andreessen working his way into a core special teams player who added 114 snaps on defense, he still was living in that roster bubble nearly the entire season.
Not really to the playoffs, honestly. Even when I made the team the day of, like, cut day or whatever you want to call it, my agent was like, be excited for today. You're on the 53, but like you can get cut any day, like especially these next couple of days. And honestly, I would think about that throughout the season. You know, that because you see it happen to other people on the team. You know, people get cut week in, week out, and you know, I kind of felt like maybe once we got to the playoffs, like okay, like I'm going to be on the team for the playoffs at least, like throughout that.
Andreessen still embracing the nickname Buffalo Joe.
Come on, Buffalo.
Even as he continues to prove his place on the hometown team is more than a feel-good story.
It's a little different being here too. Ultimately, my goal is to keep gaining the trust of the coaches. You know, again, kind of as I mentioned, showing that I belong, you know, day in, day out, even though, you know, you could say like I might have done that already a little bit, but, and honestly, just trying to make more plays, you know, trying to, you know, takeaways are huge here, so a huge part of our defense, trying to get takeaways and make big splash plays, and trying to be more vocal and everything like that day in, day out.
All while knowing the next day remains uncertain.
Not being too exalted and, you know, remaining humble and just being grateful that I'm able to come in here every day and work. Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of great players that are on the outside looking in. And while I'm here, I want to make sure I do everything I can, that even if I am on the outside one day, I could say that I did everything I could.
Doing what it takes with more than just a foot in the door. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, a champion with Kentucky under John Calipari, was dominant and went on to the NBA.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
He's retired, but on a mission to help people like him who stutter.
And when you were on the court, was stuttering an issue then?
It was hard, man. It was hard. You know, like it was times I was called dumb, I was called stupid.
He struggled with interviews. He never received therapy until he was in college. Now he's using his platform calling for New York State to pass a bill requiring health insurers to provide coverage for people who stutter.
This would not limit the amount of visits for the speech therapy, and it would also not require co-payments, which often are astronomical.
State lawmakers are trying to make it happen.
Stuttering is something that isn't indicative of your intellectual capabilities. It isn't indicative of anything except the fact that you stutter, that you need help and assistance with your stutter. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything that we can for people so that they can continue to believe in themselves.
Kentucky passed similar legislation, and he was on hand when it was signed.
I'm not doing this for any type of reward.
If you had had these services that you are pushing for now when you were younger, what would it have done for you?
It would help me out a ton.
The bill sponsors are optimistic it will pass.
As a kid and as an adult, you know, I just always wondered how I was going to be successful.
He was on the court and now in life.
I am happy to be in this space and just advocate for those, you know, just like myself who have a stutter.
I'm still gonna do my thing. Ooh, yeah. Y'all ready? Come on, Tyler, here we go. Out my way. I tell you I'll make it all okay. Peace with me. I know you got trouble.
Well, from the superintendent to Juneteenth to Pride, it has been a heck of a month.
It certainly has. We really enjoyed bringing you all of these stories. Look for us next month. More stories on commUNITY. Enjoy your summer.